2023 was a rocky year for the economy, to say the least. As interest rates hiked at the fastest rate in history, layoffs loomed from Silicon Valley to Wall Street, leaving regional banks in a state of crisis. All the while, the world is on edge as war rages on in Europe and the Middle East, and geopolitical tensions rise between China and the US. But in the middle of all this chaos, a powerful force in the entertainment industry came in to save the day, or at least the economy, from going completely bust. Enter Taylor Swift, one of the most popular artists in the world. From being the proud winner of 12 Grammys to being named 2023's Time Person of the Year, Taylor holds 117 Guinness World Records of musical achievement, putting her in the Hall of Fame with industry titans such as Michael Jackson, Madonna, Elton John, and the Beatles. Whether or not you're a fan of her music, it's undeniable that her influence reaches far and wide, and to every corner of the globe. In this video, we'll talk about just how Taylor Swift stimulated spending during one of the worst economic downturns since the 2008 Great Financial Crisis, her immense socio-cultural influence on the arts and the music industry, and ultimately what this means for you as a fan, a spectator, and a citizen of the world. In March 2023, Taylor Swift launched her career-defining Eras Tour that pays homage to 10 albums she's released in the last 17 years of her illustrious career, which she describes as a journey through the musical eras, letting fans from all over the world relive the different eras that define Taylor Swift's musical genres, fashion, and love life, and making her a billionaire in the process. The success of the Eras Tour has caught the attention of governments who requested the tour be brought to their country or city as a way to drive economy and tourism. World leaders like the Chilean president, the mayor of Budapest, and the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau have all asked her to bring the tour to their country. As of January 2024, the tour has already made $1 billion, making it the only concert tour to cross the prestigious 903 figure, only halfway through its run. This has already beat out Elton John's Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour, which made $940 million between 2018 and 2023, and Beyoncé's Renaissance tour, which made $580 million. Concerts and sporting events have always provided an economic boost to host cities, bringing in an influx of customers to businesses that cater to travelers. And while the economic impact of every event varies, a commonly used multiplier is that every $100 spent on live performances generates an additional $300 in other expenses, including spending on hotels, food, and transportation. But in 2023, fans that went to the Taylor Swift Eras Tour concert far outpaced typical spending patterns. Swift fans, commonly referred to as Swifties, averaged $1,300 of spending in local economies on travel, accommodation, food, and merchandise, which is $720 more than the average concertgoer. This level of spending is on par with the Super Bowl, the difference being that the Super Bowl is one night a year, while Taylor Swift's Eras Tour plays over 140 concerts across 5 continents. On the Eras Tour's opening night in Glendale, Arizona, the concert did in fact bring in more revenue for local businesses than Super Bowl 57, which was held back in February 2023 in the same stadium. So while concert sales grossed $1 billion so far, the impact on the economy is actually 5 times greater than that. A well-cited study by Question Pro calculates that Swifties have already directly spent $5 billion in destinations across the US. And since the Eras Tour is only halfway through its run as of January 2024, the US Travel Association estimates that the total economic impact will likely exceed $10 billion in direct and indirect spending. The president of Question Pro, Dan Fleetwood, said that the numbers are pretty incredible. If Taylor Swift were an economy, she'd be bigger than 50 countries. And if she were a corporation, her net promoter score would make her the 4th most admired brand, and her loyalty numbers mimic those of subjects to a royal crown. It's all a testament to her focus on the fan experience. Downtowns across the US have enjoyed an influx of visitors and a spending boost, all thanks to Taylor Swift. Los Angeles, which hosted 6 shows, benefited from a total economic impact of $320 million, with 3,300 jobs created, $20 million in sales and local sales tax, and another $9 million in hotel room taxes. And Denver's 2 concerts resulted in visitor spending that contributed an estimated $140 million to Colorado State's GDP. But despite the impressive numbers generated by the Eras Tour, Taylor's economic impact does not end there. In addition to being a talented songwriter, Swift is also an insanely good businesswoman who is able to create a universe with the music that she writes. Not only is the Eras Tour an economic boon, it has also become a cultural phenomenon. Every city that Swift has visited over the course of the tour so far has pulled out all the stops for her. Minneapolis was renamed Swiftiapolis. Santa Clara, California made her the honorary mayor, and the New Jersey governor named the state sandwich of New Jersey after her. In July of 2023, Swift flabbergasted everyone when she decided to share her profits with the Eras Tour crew, spending $55 million on bonuses for everyone from backup dancers to sound technicians to truck drivers. Such generosity serves as another testament to the singer's disruptive force. In October of 2023, Swift released Taylor Swift: The Eras Tour Movie, which debuted as #1, and which, as of January 2024, has grossed over $260 million worldwide, an unprecedented amount for the realm of concert films. This is a smart financial move on the part of Swift, considering that she circumvented the traditional Hollywood distribution system and made a deal directly with AMC. Nearly 2 decades since she recorded her first album, Taylor Swift has broken countless music industry records. In 2023, the most streamed artist of the year was none other than Taylor Swift on music streaming giants Apple Music and Spotify. This can be attributed partly to the wake of her album re-releases, which commenced in 2019 after the drama with Scooter Braun. Her latest re-recorded album, 1989, Taylor's Version, which released in October of 2023, became her most commercially successful re-recorded album. On Spotify, it posted the highest single-day streams globally for any album in 2023, and its songs occupied the top 6 Billboard Global 200 the same week, making Taylor Swift the first artist ever to achieve this feat. Her other re-recorded album, Speak Now, Taylor's Version, made history when it went straight to the top of the charts as her 12th #1, making her the woman with the most #1 albums and the first person with 5 albums simultaneously on Spotify's top 10 albums global chart. And the success of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is directly linked to the success of her streaming. The live music performance is actually a driver to the streaming platforms and vice versa. This is a testament to the immense influence Taylor Swift has over her fans, which goes beyond just economics and financials. Rather, she is a culture. She has created her universe, much like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or Star Wars, that has its own symbols, lore, language, and merchandise. For example, every Eras Tour concert is filled with thousands of fans wearing and exchanging beaded friendship bracelets that pays tribute to the song You're on Your Own Kid, or how she sells thousands of those red scarves because she apparently left it at Maggie Gyllenhaal's house as referenced in All Too Well. For these reasons, it's evident that Taylor Swift is an incredibly intelligent businesswoman and holds a Midas touch that few artists ever achieve. And fans are acutely aware of Swift being connected to her body of work in a way that few artists are. She writes all her songs, has been protective of her music in the streaming boom, and is now releasing re-recordings of her past music to reclaim her master rights. It all adds up to a music industry enterprise, the likes of which the world has never seen before. It's no surprise that the Eras Tour and Taylor Swift's music as a whole is an ongoing economic force to be reckoned with. And we believe that everyone is in some way impacted by this force, regardless of whether or not you actually like her music. So this begs the question, did Taylor Swift really save the economy? And why is this question important for all of us as consumers, investors, and law-abiding citizens? The Wall Street Journal reported that live events give a temporary spike to the local economy. And while the one-off infusion of revenue is good, it doesn't translate into significant economic gains because the local economy always goes back to equilibrium after the event is over. But if the Taylor Swift phenomenon taught us anything, it is that it really has demonstrated the power of live events in driving travel and boosting local economies. This enthusiasm comes despite broader economic challenges. We're in the middle of a Fed-induced recession, and there's a cost of living crisis, and yet fans are still willing to fork up thousands of dollars of their savings in order to see Taylor Swift. The rise in ticket prices to live events has triggered a phenomenon that analysts have dubbed Funflation. According to this Wall Street Journal article, Americans mentioned that 30 years ago, it didn't break the bank to see Bon Jovi in concert in the 80s. Live performances were affordable and enjoyed by those in the middle class. But nowadays, trying to give your children the same experience feels borderline impossible. According to Wall Street Journal and a Credit Karma survey, nearly 60% of Americans say that they've had to cut back on spending on live entertainment because of rising costs. 37% of respondents said that they can't keep up with the rising price of events that they want to attend, and 20% say that they were willing to take on debt to continue to be able to afford their favorite entertainment. In addition, 26% of respondents said that they don't spend money at all on live entertainment, up from 16% before the pandemic. In the third quarter of 2023, American household credit card debt hit $1.08 trillion, the highest ever in history, and up sharply since before the pandemic. This points to deeper problems in the overall economy, as many Americans are putting basic living expenses on credit, not just luxuries such as travel or live entertainment. But while this is the case, Americans still spent nearly $100 billion on tickets to spectator amusements in 2023, including movies, live entertainment, and sporting events, according to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. Live music in particular has undergone supercharged ticket price increases because of the strong demand from consumers who are still willing to pay up despite the cost of living crisis. And despite the rise in ticket prices, live events are still seeing record attendance. So the question of this video now goes well beyond Taylor Swift and her loyal fanbase. It becomes a question of just how far fans are willing to go to see their favorite artist live, and what the real-world consequences are for the broader economy. Travel company Upgraded Points conducted a survey of 3,000 Americans in 2023 and found out that the average American is willing to dish out 13% of their total life savings to see their favorite artist in concert. 11% of the fans are willing to go into debt, and 43.5% of fans say that they would use a buy now, pay later option. This points to many red flags in the broader economy. CNBC reported that as Americans are facing record levels of household debt, 10% of cardholders are carrying debt from month to month or falling behind on payments, and a greater percentage are now going more than 180 days delinquent. To add more pain, the credit card interest rates are now over 20% following the Fed's string of 11 rate hikes. So what does it mean when the debt comes due and most households can't pay it back? Well, on an individual level, there would be no way to acquire assets, own a home, or build up your personal wealth until that debt is paid back. In other words, that would mean that you're being owned by the bank or credit card company who's the owner of the debt. Remember, Taylor Swift has a loyal fanbase because first and foremost, she's a smart businesswoman and incredibly good at marketing and PR. While she has the appearance of a sweet girl, behind that facade is an ultra-competitive personality on the level with the likes of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. That's why she's so good at what she does. And as a fan and spectator, there is much respect to be given. But as observers, our biggest takeaway is that we are in control of our own lives. Take the lesson from Swift. From a first principle standpoint, she's a billionaire because she made music fans relate to. But most importantly, she made a series of good business decisions that worked in her favor. We don't all have to be A-list celebrities to follow that model. We are all in control of our lives through the choices that we make. We can choose to be disciplined, to not go into debt, and to not spend on things that we can't afford. Remember, live entertainment events such as the Taylor Swift Eras Tour is a luxury. It's not a necessity. And sometimes it requires making sacrifices and doing the hard thing in order to be better set up financially for your future. But by making wiser decisions, we can all set up ourselves for success. If you like this video, here on the channel we do video essays on where we observe finance in our everyday life. So you can check out the next video here if you haven't already, and we will see you in the next one.